The key is knowing when we're being lied to, or worse, when we're being diverted from looking in a direction where we might learn something.
Few revelations in recent memory have rattled Hollywood quite like the rumor that Meryl Streep, the legendary actress who has epitomized elegance for decades, could be at the center of a painful lawsuit against her husband, Don Gummer. At first glance, the notion seems almost unthinkable. Streep, widely hailed as a paragon of talent and composure, has cultivated an image that's practically untouchable. She's adored by fans for her intense devotion to each role she plays, and by colleagues for maintaining an impeccably drama-free aura in an industry known for turbulence. So when whispers started floating around that she had filed legal papers accusing her longtime spouse of assault, many were left speechless. How could it be that one of America's most esteemed actresses now finds herself battling claims of harm in her own marriage? Even more baffling is how little we truly know about what transpires behind closed doors, even for public figures of Streep's stature. There's always been a certain mystique around Meryl and Don's relationship. They've been married for over 4 decades, showing up together at awards ceremonies with genuine smiles and quiet admiration. Hardly anyone in the world of show business ever guessed that a hidden storm might be brewing. Before we delve further into the details, it's worth clarifying that actual legal documents have reportedly been filed under Meryl's name, a bold and unnerving step for someone who usually keeps her personal affairs well guarded. For as long as she's been famous, Streep has managed to balance a highly public career with a fiercely private home life. This lawsuit, however, changes the game. According to rumors and leaked court papers, Streep accuses Don Gummer of assault, describing incidents that are said to have escalated over time. While the precise nature of the alleged assault remains murky, every leaked detail has been disturbing enough to capture major headlines. The reality that such claims could arise from a marriage that appeared rock solid underscores the notion that relationships, no matter how idyllic they might look from the outside, can harbor a darkness few suspect. Some who followed Meryl Streep's journey wonder why she would opt to take such a public stand now, after 4 decades of marriage. But that isn't the whole story. A key piece of the puzzle is Don Gummer himself, a respected sculptor with a reputation for thoughtful creativity. Gummer isn't a household name like his wife, but he's known in artistic circles for his sculptures and public installations, which sometimes appear in art exhibitions around the country. He's also well remembered for being the quieter half of a power duo, the steady anchor who managed the family's personal life while Meryl soared across film sets. To date, he hasn't spoken out extensively about these allegations, and neither has his legal team. This silence has created a vacuum that's ripe for public speculation. Is Gummer quietly preparing a legal counterattack, or is he so stunned by these claims? Speculation about trouble in paradise first cropped up a few years back, when tabloids claimed Meryl and Don were living on opposite coasts. Streep was said to be spending most of her time in New York City, near Broadway, and the film community she loves.
Embarrassing, and it's terrifying to put the target on your forehead, and it sets you up for all sorts of attacks and armies of brown shirts and bots and worse. And the only way you can do it is to feel you have to. You have to. You don't have an option. You have to.
While Gummer was reportedly holding down the fort in Los Angeles, for a Hollywood couple, long-distance living arrangements aren't unusual, especially when careers run in different directions. But those rumors hinted at broader cracks beneath the surface. The hush-hush anecdotes about their relationship troubles, whispers at parties, mention of tension among close friends, never gained solid traction, mostly because Meryl is so skilled at safeguarding her personal life. Yet once the rumors of an actual lawsuit leaked, those old stories about separate residences suddenly seem more telling. Did Meryl and Don maintain that arrangement as a polite, face-saving strategy? Or did they quietly try to distance themselves to manage unresolved conflicts? And then there's the reaction from Hollywood. Industry heavyweights, from directors to longtime co-stars, have expressed shock. Many never saw even the faintest hint of this turmoil. Some point out that Meryl's gracious persona might also be part of the reason she's so widely trusted. She's known for championing serious causes, from human rights to women's issues, and she's done so with an authenticity that resonates. That authenticity now contributes to the confusion. How could someone so vigilant about protecting others possibly end up in a situation where she didn't protect herself? At the same time, some in the industry see her move as an act of courage, speculating that she's once again leading by example, showing that no one is exempt from the need to stand up for personal well-being. But that wasn't the entire story either. One crucial question remains: why now? There's talk among insiders that Meryl reached a breaking point when rumors of an especially heated confrontation surfaced, one that reportedly left her shaken enough to consult legal experts. If the environment had become truly untenable, it might explain why she finally put everything on the line. Filing a public lawsuit isn't a step one takes lightly, especially with a legacy as cherished as hers. The immediate backlash, media frenzy, and uncertain reaction from fans can be daunting. Yet those who know Streep say she's no stranger to standing firm on her conviction. She spent her career embodying strong women, both on screen and in her philanthropic endeavors. When push came to shove, they argue, it was only a matter of time before she stepped out of the shadows to protect herself. Of course, there's a risk in drawing definitive conclusions at this stage. Don Gummer's voice is conspicuously missing from all the swirling commentary. Could he refute the allegations with evidence that contradicts them? Could there be an alternate explanation? Perhaps a misunderstanding or an overblown argument that spiraled out of control. Right now, the public is largely basing its views on incomplete snippets of court documents and rumors from supposed inside sources. We don't know the full scope of what Meryl has presented as evidence. Has she documented these alleged confrontations over the years?
It was a protected life. It was club lady's life.
Right.
I'm old enough to remember. My mother was, she said, I'm never going to be a club lady.
Right.
But there was that layer of, that's where women, before the professions were open to them and were other things to do, educated women of means, that's where they found their ranking in society.
Are there medical records or reports from confidants who witnessed troubling incidents? Hidden beneath the drama is another conversation that extends well beyond the realm of celebrity. This lawsuit invites a deeper look at the concept of abuse, whether physical, verbal, or emotional, and how it can remain cloaked in even the most outwardly perfect relationships. People often assume that wealth, fame, and influence inoculate individuals against such turmoil. However, real life is far more complicated. The same issues that plague everyday relationships, jealousy, resentment, communication breakdowns, can strike power couples too. In some ways, the Hollywood bubble can exacerbate problems, since there's an intense emphasis on appearances. Media scrutiny can drive those in the spotlight to bury their struggles, perpetuating the illusion that everything is fine. For Meryl and Dawn, if these allegations are legitimate, one wonders how long they toiled to keep them hidden and how it might have affected their broader family dynamic over the years. The question arises, if Meryl had chosen not to come forward, would the rumor mill have uncovered these allegations eventually? Or would they have remained an unspoken secret, known only to a select few confidants? And for Hollywood, this could be a teachable moment, prompting more open dialogue about intimate partner violence and the complicated power dynamics that can exist behind the scenes. Still, none of this addresses what Don Gummer's response might look like once he finally breaks his silence. Will he issue a statement admitting to heated arguments but denying physical harm? Will he paint Meryl in a controversial light and claim these accusations are exaggerated or false? The speculation is endless, but the stakes are unimaginably high. In a scenario where the public is already predisposed to support Meryl, given her status, philanthropic efforts, and impeccable track record, it could be an uphill climb for Gummer to sway public opinion in his favor. Yet, we have seen time and again that high-profile legal battles can take unexpected turns. Surprising evidence or eyewitness testimonies have been known to emerge, flipping an entire narrative on its head. But that's not the end of the story. Though their marriage is clearly under strain, some even suggest it's irreparable, there's a chance the pair could reach a private settlement. High-profile individuals often prefer to settle out of court to keep further personal details from surface. Indeed, many in the legal field predict that Meryl and Dawn's attorneys might quietly negotiate a deal. Such an arrangement could include financial terms, potential custody, or property agreements, though their children are already grown, or even clauses restricting public comments on the case.
Because I realized that this was a little bit of an audition, if it didn't go well, I'd probably be booted off the project, but we sat there and sang all this music for 2 hours and I was walking on air when I left that meeting with him, and after that, because of his have you met him? His generous spirit,
If that occurs, we might never gain a complete understanding of what actually transpired behind the scenes. Yet the fact that Meryl took the step of filing an official lawsuit makes some observers suspect she intends to see it through, not just quietly settle. If she has chosen to break her silence, perhaps it's because she truly wants accountability, not a discreet handshake behind closed doors. On the other hand, Don Gummer might be waiting for the right moment to propose a settlement that preserves some degree of dignity for both of them, especially given their longevity as a couple and the complicated web of relationships they share. Yet for Meryl, one important factor might be the legacy she leaves behind, not just as a performer, but as a woman who took a stand. Her career spans decades. She's portrayed countless characters who speak truth to power or fight against the odds. In the real world, stepping up to allege assault against a spouse, especially one you've lived with for so long, requires a different kind of bravery. If her claims are substantiated, her story may become a rallying cry for individuals, particularly in Hollywood, who have felt trapped in toxic relationships. No matter how it ends legally, she could become a symbol of resilience. On the flip side, if facts emerge that cast doubt on these accusations, her credibility might be tested in the public sphere for the first time in her illustrious career. Either way, the personal cost is immense. And what about the children who grew up under the spotlight of two artistic parents? They've largely managed to stay out of major scandals, building their own lives with minimal intrusion from the press. If they find themselves compelled to pick sides or to defend one parent against the other in court, it could prove devastating for the family. There's something heartbreakingly universal about that predicament. No matter how successful or wealthy you are, navigating a parental split can be traumatic. Multiply that by 1,000 when it plays out in front of the world. If these allegations are as serious as rumored, then Meryl and Don may have had issues simmering beneath the surface for a long time, ones that may even date back to the earliest years of their marriage. Family dynamics often carry complexities that outsiders never see, so the emotional costs here might be far greater than any legal ramifications. Meanwhile, analysts and legal experts are keeping a close watch on the case's potential ripple effect. Could Meryl's suit reshape how courts handle assault claims between public figures? Will it open the door for more celebrities to come forward? Or will it serve as a cautionary tale about the havoc that ensues when private turmoil becomes public property? As we arrive at the tail end of this ordeal, or at least the tale as we know it now, the biggest takeaway might be that illusions are often no match for reality. For decades, the union of Meryl Streep and Don Gummer seemed like a rare Hollywood success story. No scandal, no public outbursts, just quiet support and a loving family. But if Streep's allegations hold weight, that fairy tale narrative masked a darker, more complicated truth. Their story is proof that no one, no matter how beloved or accomplished, is entirely immune to personal crises. And for an actress who spent a lifetime mastering the art of portraying other people's stories, stepping out from behind the curtain to share her own struggle is both jarring and profoundly human. Yet there's still a final question many can't help but pose. Is there any chance for a genuine reconciliation? Could therapy, mediation, or some heartfelt attempt to mend fences turn this around?
The key is knowing when we're being lied to, or worse, when we're being diverted from looking in a direction where we might learn something. The suspense that Steven Spielberg has imbued the story with, and how many times it resonates with the present moment, is something that's pretty exciting.
People often assume that someone like Meryl Streep, who exudes confidence, intellect, and poise, would never find herself in such a vulnerable position. That assumption highlights a pervasive misconception. Abuse or deep marital conflict can strike anyone. Fame and resources can offer protective barriers in some respects, but they can't insulate you from human fallibility or heartbreak. If Meryl truly endured a pattern of assault, her ordeal underscores a harsh reality. Issues like these exist in all walks of life, from the humblest corners of society to the glitzy heights of Hollywood. And if Don Gummer truly believes he's been unfairly accused, he might feel equally trapped, unable to escape the torrent of public opinion that's already forming. So where do things stand now for Meryl Streep and Don Gummer? If the lawsuit proceeds, we could witness one of the most talked about legal confrontations in recent Hollywood history. Meryl's star power ensures that this case will remain front-page news. Meanwhile, Don Gummer might see his once respectable public image tainted before he's even had the chance to speak. The dynamic of a private artist and a world-renowned actress colliding in a courtroom is an unsettling image, given how they once appeared to complement each other so effortlessly. Industry insiders will debate the motivation, possible outcomes, and moral implications until the next big scandal emerges. But for now, all eyes are locked on these two individuals who once represented an ideal of enduring love. Looking ahead, the final resolution, whether it's a high-stakes trial or a discreet settlement, could redefine how both are perceived. In the end, this saga leaves us with more questions than answers. Did we miss the red flags all along? Is there any hope for a peaceful resolution that does justice to both sides? Or has the trust between them been severed beyond repair? Each new leak or statement may tip the scales of public opinion yet again. But until the courts or the couple themselves reveal more, we're left with an uneasy blend of curiosity, concern, and disbelief. What we do know is that Meryl Streep's name will forever be linked to this shocking conflict, one that stands in stark contrast to her formerly unblemished image. If she's telling the truth, her bravery in bringing these allegations forward might empower others to break their silence. If there's more nuance to the story, the road ahead could be even more complicated than it appears. For now, we can only watch from the sidelines as a once-storied partnership reckons with a challenge that might be its final act. The drama surrounding this lawsuit isn't just a headline. It's a window into the private anguish that can exist behind even the most iconic public personas. So what do you believe? Is this a cautionary tale about the hidden wounds that can fester for years? Or do you suspect the story holds twists we can't yet foresee? However this unfolds, one thing is certain. The fallout from Meryl Streep's claims against Don Gummer will reverberate far beyond the realm of celebrity news, reminding everyone that when it comes to intimate relationships, appearances can be deceiving, and that no one, no matter how famous, is immune to heartbreak or the desperate need for resolution.